Okay, so today we'll do an emergency descent. Now, why would you do an emergency descent? One reason would be, for example, you have a fire on board, an electrical fire that you're unable to extinguish, or a fire in the cabin, and you really need to land fast, so you need to get down quickly and do an emergency landing down there. Another reason would be, let's say your passenger has a severe medical problem, like a heart attack or something, and you know there's an airport just below you and you want to get down to the traffic pattern altitude as quickly as possible. Now there are basically two ways to do that. The first one is with flaps up. In this airplane the gear is down anyway, so don't need to worry about that. So the first option is to keep the flaps up and fly speed. If the air is clear, there's no turbulence, you can fly speed at the top of the yellow arc. But be careful, if it's getting turbulent, you really need to reduce the speed into the green arc. What's also best is not to go straight down, but to fly 360s, because that will even increase your descent rate more. However, you should keep in mind that what's pretty dangerous about the whole emergency descent thing is traffic. So you're basically rapidly falling through thousands of feet. So if there's traffic below, of course you don't have really much time to recognize it. It's a bit better in a high-wing aircraft. You can see down better, but still, if you're in controlled airspace, declare an emergency, let the controller know, and he'll definitely tell you if there's traffic below you. Alright, so I'd say, well, now the second option to do that is with flaps fully extended. Of course you have a lot of more drag then, but you have to keep your airspeed within the white arc on the airspeed indicator. So my suggestion is, let's try both versions out and see which one gets us down faster. We are now in 11,500 feet and I'd like to get down to 2,000 feet. So when the clock reaches, the seconds reach 30, I'll start. So throttle idle, of course, carb heat on, increase speed to top of the yellow arc, and additionally increase the bank angle. Be careful not to get too fast. Never exceed red line speed. Scan for traffic as much as possible. We have a descent rate of more than 2,000 feet now. Okay, now 1 minute is over. Now very conveniently I even would have an airport just straight ahead, but we'll ignore that for now, because I just want to show you the procedure. Okay, now don't overshoot the altitude, or undershoot actually. We are nearing the 2,000 feet after 2 minutes now. Okay, and I'll end the emergency descent. Now be careful when you pull up, don't pull too briskly, so as not to overstress the airplane. Need to get the mixture in now. Apply power. If you don't need it anymore, switch off the carb heat. Now it took us 2 minutes and 5 seconds, I think it was, to get from 11,000 to 500 to 2,000 feet. So that's not bad. That's a really high descent rate. Let's try the same, but with flaps this time. Okay, so we're at 11,500 feet again. When the seconds are at 12 on the clock, I'll start my descent, this time with flaps. Okay, so throttle idle. Speed is checked, full flaps. Alright, carb heat on. And the speed on top of the wide arc now. Check for traffic. And bank. Don't get faster than the wide arc. Descent rate is again more than 2,000 feet per minute. One advantage of this method may be that due to the lower speed, you have a much lower turn radius, a smaller turn radius. Okay, checking for traffic. Speed is good, bank is okay, descent rate as well. So 1 minute is over. One and a half minutes. Two minutes. And 2 minutes 5, but we're still in 6,000 feet. So it takes us quite some time longer than without flaps. Alright, and so on. Well, I'll add some power, adjust the mixture then, and switch off the carb heat. Alright, so we've seen that the emergency descent, I also should retract the flaps, that the emergency descent without flaps was much faster. But we have now just established this for this airplane in this simulator. So for your actual airplane this may be different, but it's a very interesting thing to try out. Just try both methods out and see what works best for you. Maybe if the descent is slower with flaps, we have the advantage that the turn radius is smaller, so you don't need that much horizontal space for that whole maneuver. If you try it, just make sure you're in a suitable area for that, and make sure, ideally if you can, that there is no traffic below you, and constantly scan for traffic. Alright, so this concludes the lesson about emergency descents, and we'll see each other in the next lesson.